I remember the exact moment when I lost that $10,000. It wasn't just money. It was everything I had. And it wasn't my life savings. It was a shot to prove everybody wrong, which is where I messed up. I should have been trying to prove God right and myself right. And when it was gone, it felt like I was gone too. Like I lost a part of myself. I'm not over exaggerating, I promise you. So I had just dropped out of college, right? I gave up my scholarship completely, my full ride scholarship, after working so hard to obtain it by getting the best grades all throughout high school, right? Sounds good, sounds real good. Had the craziest GPA, did everything. I was in every single academic group that you could think of, trying to just be as valuable as I can so I can get that full ride scholarship. And it was good because they were willing to pay me to go to the classes, go to school. I was getting so much on my refund check, right? I turned down like every safety net. I was about to get married. I was about to move out of my mom's house. And it's funny because when I was apartment shopping, I have the picture. I'm gonna put the picture here. I was looking at my phone, seeing the drawdown of my $10,000 being blown. And my wife, she was like, "Hey babe, you like the apartment? It looks nice, right?" I was like, "Yeah, it look good." And I'm over here down like 8K. But I left all that behind because I thought God had something more for me and other people didn't see it. Nobody's seen it at all. Everybody was telling me to stay in school, of course, which makes sense, and which parents would tell their kids to stay in school, especially since my mom graduated from college. So she had a job, she had a 9 to 5. So she wasn't entrepreneur minded, she wasn't risk minded. She was brought up different. But I just been exposed to different things, so I had a different mindset and I knew God was calling me for more. And I had at that time big goals, big dreams. So what was required? Big faith was required for this. Like you can't go into wanting all these different things and not have any faith to take the risk. Because if you don't have faith to take the risk, then how do you expect to have these big things? I'm telling you, that's why I say entrepreneurship or trading or these different kind of things isn't for everybody, because not everybody has that amount of faith to where they can rely and trust in God when everything looks like crap. And during that time, I had no backup plan. That was plan A. I had no like, okay, if this doesn't work out, then I got this. No, I didn't have that. I'm gonna be real with you though. Nobody believed in me. Everybody said I was making a mistake, but there was one guy. I told you guys this in the last video. He said, "You're the only one that has to live with decisions that you make. Nobody can live this life for you. At the end of the day, it's going to be you in that bed by yourself with your own thoughts. Or what if it did work?" And even people I loved and not loved me told me I was going to ruin my life. And the worst part about it is I started to believe them. I was like, wow, did I make the wrong decision? I tried to take a risk. I tried to step out on faith. And this was a result of it. Straight calamity, straight loss, not having anything. When I was trading, I had anxiety on the charts because I didn't want to lose the money. I had a lack mindset. I didn't have an abundant mindset. Develop a abundant mindset, please. It will save you because our God is abundant. I had that lack mindset. So when I was in the trade, my heart was beating fast. My hands were literally sweating and I could barely blink right. Like it was so weird. I can't even explain it. And when I tried to go and close out trades, my hand would shake this much. I literally couldn't even click the mouse to close out the trade. And so when I finally lost the $10,000, I just sat there. I got on my knees and I said, "Why, God?" First time I ever cried for money, I said that. I said, "Why, God? Why did this happen to me?" And I knew why it had to happen to me. I didn't use proper risk management. And at that time, I did have like some kind of course, mentor or whatever. But this style of trading just wasn't my style of trading. I actually had two. And I just wasn't following it. I just didn't have any self-discipline. I had no self-control. I was not displaying the fruits of the spirit. I'm telling you, the spiritual walk, man, if you really want to be successful and really tune into what you have to tune into, make sure all areas of your life is thriving. Because if I had that, if my spiritual life was thriving in that moment, I would have had that self-control. I would have had that discipline. I would have been able to tell my flesh, no, don't take that trade. I would have been able to say no to the greed. Like, don't try to make everything you can out of one single trade. If I would have just been practicing those things, it would have helped me dramatically in my trading. And I tell people, even if you're a business owner, if you really lock in, it will promote your business heavily because you'll be a better person that can work on that business and make it work. I'm not even talking about the supernatural things outside of that, but it just turned into a better person. But I was not broke just financially at that time. I was broken mentally, spiritually, emotionally. I literally said, "God, why would you leave me here?" But what I realized now when I look back then, I realized God didn't leave me. He was stripping me. He was stripping away my pride, stripping away my false confidence, stripping the idea away that I could do without him. I didn't realize it at the time, but that $10,000 loss was the beginning of a deeper relationship with God. And the scriptures say brothers are born in adversity. Sometimes you have to go through some hard times to really find God in the valley, in the darkness. Because I was 19 years old. I know some teenagers and stuff, they go through a lot of stuff, but I never been through something like that. I never lost everything. I never had a moment in my life up at that point where it felt like all hope was lost. Because when all I had was him, that's when I realized he was all that I needed. And it wasn't just a loss, it was a betrayal too. People I trusted, people I looked up to scammed me in different business investments and dealings with. Even my pastor wasn't who he said he was. And I was too young, too naive, too hopeful to see the snakes in the grass. Sometimes God lets people break your heart, break your trust, so you stop trusting a man and start trusting in him. I was looking for support from men and the people that I knew and the people that I loved, but God was trying to teach me to depend fully on him. I thought I needed money to succeed, but God was telling me, you don't need more money, you need more of me. In that moment, I stopped praying for profit. I started praying for peace. I stopped asking for wins. I started asking for wisdom. I stopped chasing success and started chasing stewardship. Faith without works is dead, but work without faith is empty. I had to learn that because I was working, I was studying, I was trading, but my heart was in survival mode. And that's when I go back to tell you, when my hands were sweating, when my heart was beating fast, when I couldn't even trade and think properly, and it was nothing but stress, chaos, and anxiety going on in my mind. I wasn't surrendered, I was striving. And that's why I kept breaking down. But then God spoke to me, not audibly, but like in my soul. I felt the Spirit say, you're not called to survive, but you're called to walk by faith. And that's when everything just shifted for me. I started waking up early, praying before I even looked at the chart. I started fasting, not just to get my breakthroughs in trading, but to break the chains off my mindset. Because let's be honest, this journey of entrepreneurship or even trading, it will break you if you don't have something stronger to hold on to. Something stronger that's holding you together. I promise you, God is the glue. For me, that was God. Trading is spiritual warfare. It will expose every single part of you. Your impatience, your greed, your lack of trust, your desire to control everything. And you can't conquer what you're not willing to confront. So I started confronting myself. I started asking God, show me where I'm off. Teach me how to trust you in the middle of my drawdown, in the middle of my losing streak, when I keep losing back to back to back to back, because I promise even seasoned traders, this will happen to you. Losing streaks happen. They happen, they happen, they happen. Trading is not 100% perfect. So you have to learn how to trust God. When you have those consecutive losses, trusting him that, okay, I have a proven tested strategy, that the wins will come, and not letting self-control or no self-control and greed take over. I said, teach me how to be still and know that you are God, even when the trades are not going my way or going in my favor. Because there's been times, listen, I know 100% you've been in a trade and you've been, God, please let this go up. Please let this go up. Please let this go up. It go down, hit stop loss, and you're like, dang, man, why didn't you let it go up? You said, ask for anything, it shall be given to me. But bro, ask for a winning strategy, ask for a better risk management, ask for those things to make you a better trader. Don't ask for the market to do this. I ain't gonna lie, sometimes favor will help you out in that case, but come on now. That $10,000 loss, it taught me more than any course could ever. It taught me that God is not just the God of the mountaintop. He's God in the valley. He's not just God of success, he's God of the struggle. And I know some of you might be in that valley right now, losing money, losing faith, questioning your whole path, but let me remind you, God never wastes pain. If he's brought you to it, he will bring you through it. Don't try to get through it yourself, or you're gonna be left there by yourself. He's still gonna be there, but no point of staying somewhere longer than you don't have to be. It was that season who grew me into the person who I am today, to continue to go through those hardships, because in part 3, I'm gonna talk about why I even lost more than 10,000. Everything. But it wasn't the wins, not the followers, not the payout days, the loss, the isolation, the late nights crying out to God. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where you're taking me to, but I just have to trust in you. And I carry that faith with me today. And so now when I take losses, I'm never worried, because I know who's holding, I know who secured my future, the one that made heaven and earth, the one that knows the end from the very beginning. Because I remember what God did last time. He did it again, he'd do it again. I remember how he rebuilt me from nothing. So now even when I lose, I know he who started a good work in me is faithful to complete it. That's why, like you guys know, I don't call myself self-made. I am a God-made millionaire. Everything I am, everything I have, it has came from trusting in him when it didn't make sense, and that's when it counts the most. So if you're watching this and you're in a dark place, if you just lost everything, if people betrayed you, if you feel like you mess up your only shot, let me tell you something. God is not done. The loss is not the end, it is the lesson. If this spoke to you, be ready for part 3, because I'm gonna show you how I lost it all even after making 6 figures a month, and how God rebuilt me from the ground up again. And you're not alone. If he did it for me, he can absolutely do it for you. If you wanna take trading serious, hit the link in the description, and feel free to send me a message on Instagram. I'll see you soon. Peace.